Welcome back to In Focus. The left's war on private education continues as lawmakers in the state of Oregon are weighing a new bill that would limit and restrict charter schools' ability to operate in the state. The legislation, SB 767, seeks to, quote, limit the scope by which public charter schools may conduct operations in school districts that are not sponsored by the public charter school, putting a cap, effectively, on their ability to grow. You got to ask, why is the government doing this? What's in it for them? Why is the government so determined to keep kids in their care 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 9 months out of the year? Why are they so hell-bent on ensuring that nobody else but them, the government, teaches the next generation? President of the Oregon Moms Union, Mackenzie Pulliam, is with me now to help us answer this question. Mackenzie, it's great to have you on the show. Why is the Oregon government trying to punish charter schools, trying to put a cap on their ability to grow? What's going on here?
I think they just don't like the idea of competition, kind of like you said. Right now in Oregon, our charter school system is the only form of school choice that is funded by taxpayer dollars. And so I think they're trying to do what they can to regulate and limit charter schools. And, right now we have so many issues with our schools and, kids who can't read and do math at the correct grade levels. And really, we should be opening it up to find different educational alternatives so that all kids can find schools that work the best for their needs, instead of shoving them into this one-size-fits-all box that's called the Oregon education system, and it's clearly not working.
And obviously, parents, this is not something that they want to be seeing. If they want to pull their child out of the public education system, which, by the way, I'm a huge advocate for. If you can send your child to private school, to a charter school, even if it seems like a long shot, by all means, with the education system we have now, Mackenzie, you should do it. So certainly parents are not on board with this. Why does the government not want to listen to the will of their people?
I think at the end of the day, I think that, they're worried. Here in Oregon, we have seen a mass exodus of students leaving the public education system. Enrollment numbers continue to be down year after year since the pandemic started. I think a lot of parents, sought out education alternatives during the pandemic just to get their kids back into the classroom and realize that there are better options out there. And now I think the government is doing everything that they can to try to make sure that those options for parents are as limited as possible. And these charter schools have waiting lists a mile long, so the interest is there, and I think that's why they're limiting them, because so many parents are looking to find an alternative to the Oregon education system that's just not working. Yeah, the education system that is spending $2 million, or at least set to spend, on LGBTQ2SIA+, it's a word salad, Mackenzie, curriculum. This $2 million for a Department of Education curriculum here for students to succeed. Do they need that? Do they need millions of dollars funneled into LGBT propaganda for students to have a successful career and get into a good college? Is that really necessary? No, I don't think it is at this point, because less than 45% of our kids can read, less than 2% of them can do math at grade level. I mean, our kids can't read, our kids can't do math. Why are we worrying about teaching them this political curriculum when at the end of the day, this money should be going to focusing on the basic, to teaching them how to read, write, and do math so that they can be successful when they enter the workforce or higher education?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. They seem a little too focused on the sexualization of kids side of thing, which they shouldn't be focused on at all. But illiteracy in Oregon and across the nation is through the roof. I mean, in some of these grades, 60-70% of kids are not proficient at reading on their grade level that they should be. Mackenzie, it's been a disaster. What are moms in the state saying about the future of public education in Oregon?
Parents are really concerned and frustrated. We are taxpayers, we are paying into this system, and we trust that this system is going to do what's best and educate our kids and prepare them, to go into the workforce. And they're clearly not doing that. They're prioritizing other things. They're not allowing us choice options. And parents are really frustrated. Here in Oregon, we don't even have science-based, phonics-based learning curriculum that's required. Instead, we're just asking kids to memorize some sight words and hope that that allows them to learn how to read. It's really a system that is failing our kids, and I think parents are beyond frustrated.
Yeah, now I want to play a clip here. This is actually a teacher in Arizona, but I think it's relevant because this is a nationwide problem. I want you to listen to this teacher complaining and what she's saying about parents. Take a listen.
I have a master's degree because when I got certified, I was told I had to have a master's degree to be an Arizona certified teacher. We all have advanced degrees. What do the parents have? Are we vetting the backgrounds of our parents? Are we allowing the parents to choose the curriculum and the books that our children are going to read? I think that it's a mistake. I'm just speaking from the heart. The one line that I love is, we must remember that the purpose of public education is not to teach only what parents want their children to be taught. It is to teach them what society needs them to be taught.
We could go on and on with clips of teachers around the country having that kind of attitude, Mackenzie. As a mom, how do you feel knowing that teachers are using terms like our kids, not your kids, Mackenzie, our kids, and then talking at you like you're some idiot because you don't have a fancy master's degree, or maybe even do, but saying you don't have the degree that I have in college, you stupid parents. How do you feel knowing that teachers are talking like that?
As a parent, it's maddening. And really, at the end of the day, the whole point of the education system is to teach kids how to think, not to teach them what to think. And I think that's the problem with a lot of teachers think that they are there to teach kids what they should be thinking, when at the end of the day, they're supposed to be teaching them how to think for themselves. And I think that's really where the disconnect is coming from. And I think parents, again, are just beyond frustrated.
Well, I appreciate the work that you do and all the other moms in Oregon, Mackenzie, trying to make some fundamental changes in the system and push back for what you know is right for your kids. So thank you so much for your efforts and for joining the show today. It's great to see you.
Thank you.
Well, Don Lemon might have been absent from CNN for a few days, but that didn't stop the network from spewing racist nonsense like always. This time they called in one of their medical experts to warn everyone that there's a shortage of black doctors in the U.S. right now, and that this lack of diversity could harm public health. Because we all know white doctors, they're not as good as black doctors or something like that. Here's CNN.
Right now, fewer than 6% of doctors in the U.S. identify as black or African American. That's despite the fact that the community makes up 12% of the country's total population, and that's raising concerns about the impact on public health. The research shows, and we've discussed this before, the benefits of a more diverse workforce. Sometimes doctors will dismiss the concerns or symptoms of a certain demographic. Explain what the studies show.
Exactly, Victor. And research shows that when we have a more diverse physician workforce, there's more understanding and more trust between the patient and the doctor. If the doctor has an understanding of the patient's cultural experiences, cultural background, lived experiences, especially when it comes to racism or discrimination or other aspects of their life, that can help with that physician-patient relationship. And we also see that patients are more likely to follow a physician's medical advice if they do have a feeling of being heard and understood. So all this plays a role in really improving public health, Victor and Bianna.
Am I missing something here? Since when did black doctors become more qualified than white doctors or Hispanic doctors or Asian doctors to provide care? Or white doctors just by nature less qualified, less good at treating patients? Is this a crisis now? Well, I'm sure CNN apparently seems to think so. Moreover, have we not learned from this prioritizing of diversity over merit? Need I name names? Karine Jean-Pierre, Ketanji Brown Jackson, Sam Brinton, Rachel Levine, Kamala Harris. You get the point. Because of course, this representation idea, this fake diversity, is more important than qualification if you're an idiot who hasn't learned lessons in the past, hard lessons that we've had to learn under this administration. And especially when it comes to someone who's operating on you, the last thing I'm going to be worried about is how much melanin they have in their skin or lack thereof. I'm going to be worried about, are they a good doctor? There's a novel idea for you, CNN.